Welcome back to Let's Get the Neighbors Talking. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Lauren.
We are from Moon and Stone, and we're here to talk about all the weird things that we do.
And that we hope you'll do too, because it's fun.
It is fun. Some things are fun. Some things not so fun.
Yeah.
So last time we started talking to you guys about our journey to Costa Rica, to Solterra for our Ayahuasca retreat. This is part 2.
Yeah, that was it's funny that we did that, but here we are.
So I think where we last left off, we had the opening meeting and circle time with the other members who were there, which were about 15 to 16 people plus 4 facilitators.
And don't forget the Vomitivo, where somebody may or may not have peed their pants.
You know what? I hadn't intend on sharing that information, but when I was telling the story, I couldn't help it.
Yeah. Well, it was a part of the story.
It was a huge part of my day.
Yeah.
So actually, if you guys didn't listen, you should go back and start from the last episode. But Lauren was so sweet. When I did get back to the bench after the Vomitivo, I was soaking wet. Obviously, I mean, the front of me from vomiting, all down my lovely new, my palazzo, like vacation pants. And Lauren said, I was like, I can't leave. Like, I can't go back to the room right now because we're supposed to be taking part in this team building thing. Like, I can't leave. And she was like leaned across me into the area where the facilitator was. And she was like, excuse me. She like tapped him. She's like, she needs to go back and change. She peed her pants.
And then when you got up, I had to take my sleeve and I had to wipe up where you sat because there was a puddle.
Oh my God. No shame in my game, people.
Well, the facilitator was like, well, yeah, she can go. It's not jail. And I was like, wrong. No, this is definitely not where we want to be right now.
Little tiny bit of jail.
Self-imposed.
Holding cell.
Yeah.
For souls. So we finished that up and wait, did we roll right into this ceremony 1 that day after the Vomitivo?
Yes, because a lot of people did have headaches from the Vomitivo, and they were saying that the medicine could and would help with the headaches. So how Solterra sets up the ceremonies, it's beyond thought out. It is beyond all laid out how it is exactly supposed to unfold, which is what I love about that place, is that it is, if you want to experience ayahuasca in a safe and I don't want to say well thought out again, but it's true. Space, like
structured
yes.
for treatment.
Yes.
It's structured to kind of heal you.
Yep.
Thing. You can do, what we didn't talk about is we did a 5-day retreat.
No. We did. Sorry. With a 3-day ceremony. Yeah. I was like, no, Courtney. It was actually 3 years we were there.
We did a 5-day retreat, 3 ceremonies. More standard actually is the 7-day retreat with 4 ceremonies.
No, thank you.
Now, one more drop of ayahuasca was going to enter our body, but actually we chose that. It's very condensed, and a lot of people say it's much more intensive if you do, basically you robo it.
Yeah, because how they have it set up is within the 3 ceremonies. Your first ceremony, everybody takes the same amount. You can take less, but you can't take more than 1 dose. And so that first ceremony is referred to as a diagnostic ceremony. So the shamans, you take your medicine, the shamans will go around, they will sing their Icaros, which is their special songs that the earth has given them. They will sing and they'll kind of read your energy and read into your body and your soul to figure out where you need release and healing. So that's the first ceremony. And then the second one, it kind of goes like in a peak. So that ceremony starts the peak. The second ceremony is called the surgery. So that is the opportunity where you can take as much ayahuasca as you and or the facilitators feel safe. When the second day, when we were talking in the circle, one gentleman expressed interest in taking like a massive amount, and a facilitator was like, nope, that's not what we do here. Everything is taken in increments and in a very safe way. But you can, have seconds and thirds and really get what you came to the experience out of. They want to make sure that you get exactly what you need and what you want. And then, so the second ceremony is the most intense one, and ours was intense. And then the third ceremony, that is the stitching back up, the healing. And that's where the shamans will come around again, and it's called Arcana, and they will basically kind of, you got ripped open with the surgery, and they will come and they will heal your body and stitch you back up to send you on your way. So it is all very, I'm going to say thought out again. Is there another word?
Well, it's like a treatment plan.
Yes.
Like if you're going to lay out a treatment plan for
Yeah.
any medical, or therapeutic process, that's how you would hope to lay it out. I think that the 3 days, so each ceremony is done in the evening. So Lauren was talking about ceremony 1, 2, and 3. Those are 3 different days. You have ceremony, it starts at 7 p.m. And so you have the rest of the next day to talk to the facilitators, process what you might have experienced with the group or one-on-one, and just basically catch your breath. But each ceremony, was very, very different.
Yeah, totally. So the first ceremony you go off in, and it's one dose of ayahuasca. So it's basically like a shot of
raisin sludge.
Yeah, raisin sludge. That's pretty much what it's like, a muddy, raisiny tasting sludge. And everybody can only take one shot to make sure you see how your body reacts to it. I was terrified, and I think I just took a fourth of a dose. Like, you can take whatever you want, and then they do offer a round of seconds if you feel that you need some more, which I would say most people took seconds. I ended up taking another fourth, and you ended up taking a second too, right?
I know I took a full shot on day 1 on ceremony 1. Did I go back up? I think I did go back up. Did I? I don't know. I can't remember. So anyway, I took between 1 and 1.5.
And it's interesting too. So when you go into ceremony, you're in this hut, and everybody has a little bed that's set up by the amazing workers at Solterra. There's a blanket. From home, you bring a flashlight, a red flashlight. So you use this flashlight if during ceremony you need help from one of the facilitators. In order to not disturb anybody else, you take that red flashlight and you point it towards your chest. And then therefore just a little bit of light will, light up on you, so the facilitator knows to come over. My flashlight ran out of batteries because I was using it so much.
Yeah, it's very, it's at night, and there's no lights in the, there's no lights on in this space, and it's dark outside too, because you're in the middle of the jungle. So there's not even any like light pollution anywhere else except for the stars. So there is a bathroom. You'd have to exit to use the restroom down
where somebody walks you to the restroom. Yeah. There's another gentleman at the restrooms to help, like, okay, this one's open. So ayahuasca, when you take ayahuasca, it allows your body to purge any deep energetic emotions that are stuck down inside of you. And there's many, many ways to purge. The most common one is vomiting. So next to your bed, there is a bucket to vomit in. Courtney, who was the first person to vomit?
That would be you. And I wasn't even next to you, but I knew it was you. I was like, oh man, that's my girl.
Yep. So that is the number one. And it's interesting, like when you vomit during ceremony, it's not like you don't feel sick. It's a weird, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a weird feeling. It doesn't feel good, but it doesn't feel like you have the flu or something. Like, it just feels like a release. So there's vomiting, then there's coming out the other way. Okay. That happens for a lot of people. I would say that was more common for the men.
Correct.
Would you agree with
Yeah,
that?
I
Like
would
it
agree.
seemed like a lot of the men there were up and back, up and
Yeah,
back.
they were using the potty a lot.
Yeah, totally.
I did not vomit during any of the ceremonies.
That's not you.
No. But I had other senses of release, which were I had a very warm and comforting feeling actually during my first ceremony. I didn't feel nervous. I felt relaxed. I felt like I was welcoming the medicine into my life and my soul and my body. So I spent the first, I don't even know, hour, 2 hours kind of talking to the medicine, I think, through, in my head, like, here, welcome to my life, welcome to my home, here are my children, here is, my living room, my bedroom, like kind of walking them through my life.
So ayahuasca is referred to Mama Aya. It is a feminine energy. And that's where it's very feminine. And so it was and it's said that Mama Aya she will go where you need healing, and she can be, I don't want to say rough, but intense. And so we were advised to welcome her in very kindly, like asking, like, please be gentle. Like I'm feeling very nervous. Other people's forms of releasing was coughing. There was some very, very, very intense coughing. In the ceremony, they line you up energetically where they feel you would, benefit the most from the energy to your seatmates, because you're very close to to the people to the right and to the left of you. Courtney was like in the little fairy section.
I was in the fairy section.
It was hysterical.
I had little, like this girl who was she like in her 20s?
Yeah.
And
both of them were.
Both of them were. Very lively.
Very fun.
Very fun. And during ceremonies, some parts got rough for them both, but other parts, we were just like dancing.
Yeah.
I mean, with our hands only because I couldn't move anything else. But yeah, I had a different vibe. I also think that I was put there for my motherly
totally
nurturing.
Yes.
For them.
Yes.
I think they were put there for me to remind me of joy and to remind, our energies were pretty much aligned with that.
Well, and it was interesting. One of the women that you were sitting next to, she had a hard time. She was brought up to not really have fun or allowed play, and so that was something she really experienced. Like Absolutely. It gives me the chills, like the need and the joy and the major need of fun and play.
That's my jam.
Oh, it sure is. It sure is.
You want to know that? Sit next to me during ayahuasca ceremony.
Yeah. Don't sit next to me. Whatever you do. I don't recommend it at all.
So each ceremony you set an intention. So my intention for ceremony 1 was show me love. I wanted to make sure that I was shown, I think, a gentle love from Mother Aya. I was nervous, so I wanted something that was loving and gentle and kind and warm. And that's oddly, it is crazy when you set these intentions and then you take this medicine, you get that out of it. But I think you do have to put the time in to sit with your intentions. Lauren and I journaled the day before. We journaled a ton before we even left, worked with the counselor to figure out our intentions. But Show Me Love was my first one. Do you remember yours?
I don't remember mine, but I was thinking back to listening to other people in our group, and other people came in with intentions and completely got like not sidetracked, but like went down a completely different path.
I wonder if their intentions were too specific.
Who knows? But I do think that Mama Aya will do what she needs to do, regardless. And no, I'm trying to remember my intentions. Maybe it was don't kill me. I don't know. I was so
I
terrified.
can't remember either yours. My second ceremony rolls in. And my second ceremony intention was show me trust or help me with trust. So you're supposed to, when you set your intentions, you can use show me, teach me, show, teach, and guide, something like that. So that you're supposed to use words that initiate an action, followed by something that you want out of life.
Yeah.
Second ceremony
Was intense.
was intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, were you okay the day of the second ceremony? No.
No, I was nervous. I
Yeah.
was very
You were
nervous
nervous
because
to do it again. I actually felt exhausted and drained, but felt like, okay, did it the first night. I'm okay. I can do this again.
yeah, I was nervous to do it again because I also knew the process and I knew that people were going to be allowed to take as much ayahuasca as they needed. So I was nervous about that. I was nervous about other people's reaction to the medicine and how that could affect me physically. Like that's was one of my fears.
You
Like,
were afraid of being
uh-huh.
attacked.
Yep. And, I mean, yeah. And again, anxiety, if you suffer from anxiety, it's always pretty much something like not realistic, right? So I was nervous about that. I remember talking to people being like, oh, wait, how much do you think you're going to take tonight? Like, I want to take too much.
Trying to get people to take less.
Hey, take it easy. I mean, you never know how it could hit you. You know what I'm saying? So I was definitely nervous the second night for sure. But I did take a little bit more. I took half of a dose as opposed to my original 1/4 of a dose, which I'm very, very sensitive. So even from 1/4, at one moment I was like, oh, wow, I'm on Mars. This is interesting. So I was feeling it quite a bit even from the half a dose.
Yeah.
But we had a gentleman the second night. So ayahuasca is also said to kill off your ego and to kill your ego. And when you experience an ego death while you're on ayahuasca and feeling the effects of the medicine, you actually think that you are dying. And we had somebody who, I mean, he was a couple seats away from me, like screaming, and a facilitator had to go and help him and bring him back. It was scary.
Yeah.
There was some really intense sounds.
Yeah. A lot of
Vomiting.
barfing.
Yeah.
A lot of coughing.
Yeah.
It was, and you could feel, I feel like you could feel it in the air.
Oh, totally. The monkeys were going crazy.
Oh, the monkeys were going crazy.
The birds were going crazy. A couple of the gentlemen, their release was excessive sweating. So much so that some of them burst blood vessels in their eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. They were like, wasn't it so hot? It was too hot. It was too hot.
I was under a blanket.
Yeah.
Terrified.
I used my blankie too.
Yeah.
Yeah. My pillow. I got snuggled up. I took the second ceremony. I was not near the chaos that you were near.
You were in Fairyland.
I was in Fairyland on the other side of the room. Fairyland got a little rough too, okay?
It did.
There was a lot of crying, as fairies might do.
Yeah.
And there was release from both people, but never did I feel worried about who I was sitting next to or worried about them at all. I took the full dose. I took 1.5 to start. And then I went back up and took more. I think another half.
And then you got stuck.
And then I got stuck, which wasn't a bad thing. I ended up staying at ceremony until 3 a.m.
We didn't even say. So ceremony starts at 7. So you do from 7 to 8 if you'd like yoga, an hour of like really restful, relaxing yoga. But then ceremony stays until 1 a.m. You have to stay until 1 a.m. You are not allowed to leave. that also gave me anxiety. And I actually talked to one of the facilitators beforehand. He's like, if you have to exit, you can exit and like go right outside of the hut. But for your safety, you can't go anywhere else. So that was terrifying to me. But it's 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 6 hours you're there for. But Courtney got stuck and she couldn't leave at 1.
I couldn't leave at 1. I couldn't move. My body felt like I couldn't move it. It was just a weight. It was like I was sinking into the ground. So my my intention for the second ceremony was show me trust. Okay, I had a lot of experiences about visions about actually my mom, which was crazy, that came up. My things that I have never thought about. So my parents divorced when I was 2. Okay. And had a nice friendship afterwards. I saw my dad every other weekend, as one did back in those days. And I had trauma release from my parents' divorce when I was 2. Like, I cried missing my mom when I went to my dad's. That was my experience during the first part of the ceremony. And I was like, that's something that has never crossed my mind, but that was a trauma, and that was stuck in me. And so I was able to release that. I was able to kind of picture after divorce, picture my life going back to the way, not going back, actually moving forward and seeing my life in a different way, seeing this new person that I love being a part of my life without the fear, with able to trust that. And it was amazing, but also I couldn't move. So when you ask for trust, you're asking really the earth to hold you. You're asking Mother Aya to hold you, and so that you can learn to trust other elements, other energies in the universe. And when I reflected back, that was something that came to me, that weight was actually me allowing everything to let go and allowing the earth to hold me, allowing the medicine to take care of me, to nurture me. And so now when I'm in a place where I'm not grounded and I'm not feeling trustful and I'm feeling in my head and scared, I can actually bring myself back to that night in ayahuasca, into that feeling of that weight. And it's not a weight on your chest like you're nervous. It was more like allowing something else to care for you.
Like a grounding feeling?
Like a grounding feeling, yeah. But I felt like I was sinking into the ground. Like my body definitely felt like it was oozing into the ground. But being a part of nature is a huge part of trusting this plant medicine. And so that was a really poignant part for me in learning trust. In a way, like you say, people get derailed and what their intentions are. That's not what I would have expected.
Yeah.
Actually, nothing was how I expected it, but the outcome was what my intention was set for.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. And when the ceremony's over, so the facilitator will announce that the ceremony has ended. I literally grabbed all of my stuff as fast as I could and ran right out. I was like, "See you later, Courtney." I was surprised though when you didn't come back for a couple hours, but
Lauren left a cute note on my bed.
I did. I was like, You did it. And if you're listening now, you should definitely go back to our Instagram stories, because we posted a ton while we were on the retreat. We posted a ton. We needed the support. We needed that interaction. We needed the community. So we posted a ton, and we have it all saved on our highlights. And you should go back and look if you'd like. We should go and look.
I know.
Maybe not.
What was the second ceremony big kind of revelation for you?
I realized that, I did a lot of help heal me. So I did a lot of picturing and visualizing my brain and my head. And I actually felt a ton of tingling going up the back of my head and down my spine. And then I just said, help me, heal me, physically and from my anxiety. Because that was a big intention of mine, was to be able to release all of my fear. So I'm an interesting person because I'm not afraid of anything, but I'm afraid of everything. That pretty much sums me up like in one sentence. And so I kept and this is pretty typical of the both of us. You had your experience, but my experience was very physical. Like the amount of physical release that I had was a ton. I mean, I was vomiting constantly, constantly.
And there's nothing left in your stomach, so you're not vomiting.
No, and I was so fearful that I hardly ate. I lost 8 or 9 pounds in that 5 days. I did realize, the Mama Ayahuasca was speaking to me, and she was telling me, you are exactly where you need to be. Your fear and your anxiety, I always used to think it was from lack of control. She's like, it has nothing to do with that. She was like, it's from your lack of confidence. You need to be confident. You need to trust. You need to believe. And I always felt as though I trusted the universe and trusted my path, but I was like, and then I was like, oh my gosh, my favorite crystal has always been pyrite. Always, 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 which is the stone of confidence.
Yeah.
And those badass vibes. So that for me was what I was looking to get out of it. And I did. Like when we came back, and it's been a year now, and it's weird too. A lot of people do ayahuasca to release drinking. Like if you're an alcoholic, or you do have to give up booze for quite some time before you can go. But it is one of the main benefits of ayahuasca is a lot of people go there for that, is the addiction release. And it was interesting. Like ever since then, I have the taste of alcohol for me is completely different than it was before.
Really?
Yep. And I didn't even have anywhere near a problem with alcohol, like at all. It just doesn't interest me like it used to. And I haven't been on my anti-anxiety medication for an entire year. To be very transparent, I actually just went back on it. It's been a full year, but it has been a full year of not really drinking, eating super healthy, working out, meditating, jujitsu. Yep. Trying a new thing, using all my crystals and everything. And I was still having a really hard time with my mind. And so I went back on it.
No problem there.
No, but I was off of it for a year.
Yeah.
And I feel really good about that.
Absolutely.
So that was my, the second ceremony for me, I was pretty much terrified based on everybody else's experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, you were scared of the people around you.
Yeah, not in an irrational way.
No.
But in an irrational, anxiety provoked way.
Right.
But I mean, it was very noisy. But
it was. I think you guys may or may not know this, but I suffer from hearing loss, so I wear hearing aids. And during the ceremony, I took them out.
Lucky girl.
So I could hear, but I couldn't hear everything going on. And I tend to check out.
And it's funny. So we're actually, she's going to be on our podcast, but one of the women that we met at ayahuasca. So one of my fear again was being attacked and being around unsafe people who are on ayahuasca, and something would happen to me. So after everybody in the group was talking, and one guy came up to me, he's like, did you know that Crystal has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. He's like, she could have taken any one of us out in a second. And I was like,
I want to do that.
I was like, oh, I didn't even think that a female, isn't that, you know what I mean? It didn't even cross my mind. And I spoke with her actually after the retreat, and she was like, you can do this. You can do it. And so I signed up the next day, and I've been taking jujitsu now for the past year, and I'm just getting ready to test for my first belt.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a huge thing. And having that skill now in my back pocket is, that provides
confidence,
major confidence, because if something does go down, I can protect myself.
Absolutely. That was a big thing to come out
Yeah.
of that experience.
Yeah.
Rolling from the second ceremony to the third,
That's the healing.
there was a healing and we were ready for it. Oh my gosh. After the second ceremony, we were wrecked.
Everybody was wiped out.
Wiped out.
Wiped out.
I mean, I would say half of the people there, including myself, debated even taking the medicine again.
Yeah. A few
I was
didn't.
like, I don't want to do it again.
Yeah, a few didn't. And that's actually okay, because if you don't take it, you will still gain a ton of the benefits from the Icaros, the songs that that the shamans sing, which are absolutely gorgeous.
And I remember one of the facilitators telling us that there was a time in these retreats that actually the participants never took the ayahuasca. It was the shamans that would take the ayahuasca, use their Icaros, use their song and their healing powers on each person in a ceremony, because when they take the ayahuasca, they're able to identify and shine the light on what you need. So you actually you could choose not to, and you're right. I think a few people did choose not to go into it on day 3.
Mm-hmm.
I remember us journaling after day 2 and kind of we both looked so tired and sad
Saggy.
and saggy and
Like
bloated.
Yeah.
Oh, you were saggy. My face. Oh my God. I didn't even tell you guys about my rash. I got a rash on day 1.
It's not good. I thought we could go home.
It was not, I guess, an effect of the medicine. Maybe.
No, you use new skin lotion. That's what it was.
Use new skin lotion, but also they said it could have been a release.
Could
Could
have.
have been one of my releases was releasing is a rash. It can happen. Most likely it was a dumb sunblock that I brought. But I had a terrible rash on my face. It made me very bloated, very red, very itchy the whole time. And so by day 2, by day 3, rolling into the third ceremony, I would say we were really ready for some healing to happen.
I was still really ready to go home. And I thought that because when Courtney was Courtney's trigger is when she gets a face rash. It's like the end of the world. And I was like, your face looks like it's red and you have a rash. Can we go home now? Because I kept saying, let's go home. Let's stitch this.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. And she was like, nope, we're fine. We're safe. We're here. I was like, no, we gotta go.
Yeah, you wanted to get the fuck out of there. But we stayed and we did all of our work in between. We did our journaling. We met with the counselors in between. I think we had envisioned in between ceremonies, we'd be like
lounging on the beach.
lounge side. Laying in the sun,
No.
going to the beach. We went to the beach one day, you guys.
We couldn't get back.
And we couldn't get back. We did eventually, but so exhausted from the Vomitivo, from the medicine that
you don't sleep. I wasn't eating.
No, nobody sleeps. Oh, that's the other thing. You don't sleep.
Yep.
You could go to bed at
1:30.
1:32. You wake up at 6, but you don't really get a good night's sleep no matter what. Some people didn't sleep for days.
Yeah. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it?
You guys want us to book you a retreat?
So the third is the healing. So everybody, typically they recommend the starter amount, or if you want to take more, again, they are there just to guide you. As long as it's a safe experience, you can take as much as you please. And then the shamans come around and they do a closing up Icaro and healing. So when they come to your section at the mat, you actually were told to put your head down in front of them so that they can sing right into the crown of your head. It was a very quiet ceremony. It was a very restful. The energy was completely different in the hut. And it was crazy because afterwards, the next day, they ask you to cover your head because, you have just been essentially energetically stitched back up. And the top of my head was so sore. Like I couldn't imagine not having it covered up. I had a hat on and I hurt to take my hat off.
It was a beautiful ceremony. I think I was more able to connect with the shaman the last day, because it just felt like a giant hug for your whole energetic being, for your soul. And when they sing these songs, I wish we could post one of the songs.
I'll post a link. So
Oh,
there'll
that
be a
would be
link.
great.
There'll be a link in the show notes to a YouTube version of, so you can get an idea of an Icaro during ceremony.
It is the most beautiful voices. So there's a one-man shaman and one woman in our grouping, and they move around the circle on opposite sides. So you might hear the woman and the man at the same time, but they both serve different purposes. They're both very different. It is the most beautiful sound I think I've ever heard.
The first night, Courtney thought it was.
What did I think they were saying?
Cotton Eye Joe.
So
she had visions of me being like, why are they singing Cotton Eye Joe?
I thought I was asking. I mean, you're very out of it. I thought I was in my spot. Lauren was in hers, but I thought I was asking Lauren, why are they singing Cotton Eye Joe? It was, but have to say the inflection in his song, in the maestro's song, was Cotton Eye Joe.
The fact that they can sing for 5 hours straight is crazy.
I know.
It's crazy.
Well, they are also taking the ayahuasca. Mm-hmm. They are smoking a ceremonial tobacco.
Yep.
Mupacho.
Yep. Courtney smoked it quite a bit.
I did too. I did.
Did you have a cigar?
Yeah, I had a cigar.
Yeah, I didn't do that. Yeah. Yeah. I will never forget the first night you lit it up and I was like, damn, girl. I'm like curled up in my little bed here, like sobbing and vomiting.
I propped my chair up and I sat
you like crossed your legs and you were like, oh yeah.
I just let it all sink in.
Yeah, not me. I was like, oh God.
Different experience. I mean, we both had very different experiences.
Yeah, I had a very physical experience. Mm-hmm. You had a very mental experience. And I mean, I'm still looking back at it and, a lot changed, like with my anxiety and just with certain desires that I, used to previously have. And then the biggest freaking one was that I had my MRI 3 months ago. And my neurologist was like, I don't think we need to keep doing these unless you start having symptoms again.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. So, I mean, while I am not a shaman or like, I guess I don't know what I expected from going on this experience, think of everything I gained.
Yeah.
Like a ton.
Absolutely. I gained a lot of insight. I did allow some letting go. That was one of my intentions too. I allowed for trust to sink in. Although I do have to say, if you don't work with your ayahuasca post your retreat, you lose those benefits.
Yeah.
And they told us that, they warned us of that. And it is really important to like reread your journal every now and then, reconnect with the actual physical feeling of being in ceremony or recall some of those visions that you had. And I do sometimes not enough. Like there's some days or some months I'm like, why aren't you working this?
You got to meditate with the Icaros. That's what I do.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
Do you vomit?
No. Thank God. That was a lot.
That was a lot. It was a lot. So we leave on, you have to stay an extra day after your final ceremony. You can't leave the next day. Just one person did. She wanted to get out of there. She had kids at home and she was done. She was done. She had a hard time with her last ceremony and she wanted.
We changed our flight to go earlier.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We were supposed to stay one more day. Not at the retreat, but at a hotel that we thought we could relax and enjoy.
No.
Nope, get us home. So you have to stay the next day. And that's when you're, processing with the group, wrapping things up. You eat a meal with salt.
Oh, it was amazing. They did like a Thanksgiving dinner. It was so good.
They do a fantastic. The food was great. I know you didn't eat a lot, but it was wonderful. And I wasn't as hungry as I thought I was going to be. You didn't like being stuck somewhere. I didn't like being told that after whatever, 2 o'clock, you can't eat anything.
Yeah. That's not for you.
That's not for me. But given the situation and the environment and feeling really nauseous from the ayahuasca, fine. I'm done at lunch. And you certainly don't want to eat before you go into ceremony.
No, you don't want to do that.
But we met some beautiful people, some
we
beautiful
did
souls.
And we still have a group chat with everybody. And it was quite the experience.
It was. Like I said before, I'm not sure that anytime soon ayahuasca is right for me to do again, but I highly encourage anybody who's been called to it to check out Solterra. I don't think we would have had the same experience anywhere else.
It was perfect.
The care and the love and support that they offer.
And I can tell you, if you are thinking about it, and I can tell you that it is safe there. Like, that was something, again, that I wish I had known. It is safe.
I told you that. You didn't believe me.
No, because you think everywhere is safe. No. I trust you in a lot. Your judgment on what is safe and what is not, I do not trust.
And yet here I sit perfectly alive.
I know. Good job. Good job.
Thank you. Everybody, thank you for allowing us this space to share our experiences. It was actually really good for me to recall some things, and on this year anniversary, give ourselves the space to reconnect with my mother Aya and emotionally let some things go and trust in our process. So we wish that for each of you, ayahuasca or not.
Correct. Thank you so much for listening, everybody, and we'll see you at the next episode.
See you then. Make sure to follow us and subscribe to our podcast so you are notified when we release a new one. Bye.